Accounting delay affecting businesses in Mendi. Backlash against Pangu move announcement. And frustration from easipay customers as system crashes.
This is the National EMTV News with Helen Sayer.
Good evening and thank you for joining me for Tuesday's news. Strong reactions today from Lae as former Governor Luther Wenge leveled strong criticism at the Pangu party leader Sam Basil for defecting to the government. Wenge said the decision was un-Morabian and was done without any public apology. Members of the public expressed surprise and anger at yesterday's announcement.
Morabians are still reeling from the announcement yesterday that Sam Basil and 12 other opposition MPs defected to the government. Today, there were strong reactions from Lae residents.
We support him through when they move and make him forming government. But now we are surprised through looking for me move again local government and people are personally and be surprised straight there.
So when something opposition is looking for some right, that's it.
While many didn't vote directly for Sam Basil, his standing in the province undoubtedly influenced the election results in Morobe. Pangu won by a landslide majority, securing 8 out of the 10 seats. The unity was something Morabians were proud of, but today the mood was depressed.
Yeah, an old man looking at today's newspaper. Old man who got tupla thinking why na.
You know, need long I'm going to join him Peter O'Neill.
Basil initially denied he was going to join the government, but after a week of speculations over the media, the announcement was made yesterday in the presence of Prime Minister Peter O'Neill.
Guinea have chosen the government. Papua New Guinea, through the elected members of parliament, whether PNC or independents, have made their choice to have PNC back to govern the country for the next 5 years. We've done our part in going to in trying to change government. We don't have the numbers. So all I can say is that Papua New Guinea have chosen the government. Now we make our choice to join PNC.
At the Lae International Hotel this morning, former Governor Luther Wenge used colourful words to describe the decision.
And it's unbecoming of a leader, and secondly, it's un-Morabian.
For now, voters will have to wait for an official visit from the Pangu leader, who's already said he will explain his decision to join the government. Scott Waide, National EMTV News, Lae.
A number of probationary constables in Medang have been suspended for disciplinary reasons. Provincial Police Commander Superintendent Jacob Singura says officers who cannot maintain discipline must be dealt with accordingly. Singura says the number of officers on duty now has decreased following the suspension. Martha Louise with this report.
I have got to,
Superintendent Jacob Singura says at least 7 probationary constables were suspended and more will follow suit. Singura says a number of officers who are still out on operation will also be suspended as soon as their operation is completed and are back in Medang.
We are concerned about maintenance of discipline, and if we cannot maintain discipline and clean our backyard, then how can we serve our people in a true disciplined manner, professional manner? So we have in-house disciplinary measures.
The provincial police commander went on further to explain young constables are still accommodating their girlfriends or wives at the single barracks. This is despite numerous warnings having been given out to officers.
Be firm on my men, and they've got to toe the line first before we can provide an efficient and effective police service to our people.
Singura says the behavior of officers and the abuse of police powers are areas he is trying to address while tackling the constant law and order problem in Medang. Martha Louise, National EMTV News, Medang.
Police in Medang will conduct normal operations for the 42nd Independence Anniversary celebration. Provincial Police Commander Superintendent Jacob Singura says police will be stationed in various locations for a trouble-free celebration. Police will also host a parade on Independence Day.
Appeal to people in Medang province to come out despite of whatever criminal activities that is going on. These people cannot live and run far. My appeal to the good citizens of Mendi is to celebrate independence peacefully and also to assist police as well with information as to the whereabouts of these people who are causing a lot of problems in Medang, so that we can all work together to bring these people behind bars, so that they know that these actions are not welcome and not good for peace and progress in Medang province. Happy 42nd Independence Anniversary to the people of Medang and Papua New Guinea. Thank you.
Electricity users in Port Moresby have called on the national government to find a competitor who can also supply electricity. With an open competition, this would minimize problems faced like the collapse of the national easipay system. They have called for the government's fallback plan to ensure electricity is sustainable, especially when the country is turning 42 years this year.
PNG Power's easipay meter system wasn't serviceable since yesterday morning after encountering major tactical faults. Electricity users were unable to purchase the easipay on all vending sites, including mobile networks.
And then night and system down. Okay, morning we come checking all the system down. Now then we come on PNG Power office, all the power by come back on 12 o'clock. So me go back. We go start now. 12 o'clock finish now. Afternoon we come back. All the system is still down yet.
A notice was posted on the PNG Power page on social media platform Facebook that it was to be restored this morning. That never happened.
What just happened is yesterday till now. PNG Power would have advised us in one way, like media.
Electricity users fronted up at the PNG Power office headquarters in Port Moresby, demanding answers to when this service would be back up and running, but they received no favorable response.
Also, the stratum something harap so sabi. Plan to kaya of reach and back up. Nam plan na ba waiting this la? So manemet mas working something good so.
Full back plan which will supply all the all the nation.
An email received from the PNG Power call center as per advice from the support team that the system should have been restored anytime today. A statement later released this afternoon stated that PNG Power's database, which stores all easipay customer information, including meter numbers and tokens, was faulty, and that PPL IT officers and the New Zealand vendor were working around the clock to rectify and restore the easipay system. It's expected that the system to be restored by 12 midnight tonight. PNG Power has apologized for the inconvenience caused while encouraging customers to keep trying to purchase. Fabian Hakritz, National EMTV News.
In the news ahead, new directives to monitor trust accounts, government offices still locked out, and Seafood Expo begins. Details after the break. Welcome back. Over 1,000 government trust accounts holding an accumulative estimate of 2 billion kina will come under the microscope by the Department of Finance. Finance Secretary Dr. Ken Nangan says government departments and agencies have trust accounts not visible to the Department of Finance. The new department directive will ensure the Department of Finance is aware of all public funds.
The trust accounts are opened and managed by government departments and agencies, but Finance Secretary Dr. Ken Nangan has said most trust accounts aren't visible for the Department of Finance to monitor.
There's no visibility insofar as me sitting as the Finance Secretary to have an overview of how much is public funds available. The trust account will be now brought into visibility within the Integrated Financial Management System, the IFMS. Trust accounts operate in bank accounts outside of the working public account we manage.
The Secretary has now put a stop to all transactions on all the trust accounts, and urgent transactions will need his approval.
If agencies that own those trust accounts wish to do some urgent transactions, that they write to me, write to the Department of Finance, and then we can look at on a case-by-case basis.
There are over 1,000 trust accounts holding a total of 2 billion kina in public funds.
1,000 plus. 1,000 trust accounts.
Yeah. 1,000 trust accounts.
Yes.
And the amount of how much exactly?
In each of the 1,000 trust accounts, we have them. Okay. But I can only give you the value that's up to about 2 billion.
Dr. Nangan says that notice has been put out and the Department of Finance now have the mammoth task of meeting with each government account to explain the hold in transactions from the trust accounts.
The moment we are meeting with every agency that opened a trust account, we explain to them the new requirements and what they need to do. So that will take a bit of a while.
The Finance Department hopes to have a better visibility of the government trust accounts and their transactions. But this will question how government departments and agents will be able to function with a hold on all government trust accounts. Adelaide Xerox Kari, National, EMTV News.
Day 2 and 2 very important constitutional offices are still closed. The Public Solicitor and Ombudsman Commission are still closed, even though the Finance Secretary assured that payments will be made to landlords on the outstanding rental issue. Finance Secretary Dr. Ken Nangan told EMTV that the issue is a budget issue and not a cash flow problem.
Still closed and another day, lawyers from the public solicitors will not be able to attend court. The Finance Secretary, Dr. Ken Nangan, speaking to MTV News, explained it was a miscalculation from the 2016 budget.
When the old central government building was refurbished, people thought that a lot of the government offices would move into there, something which we didn't take care of in 2016 when we were preparing the budget for 2017. Now that's been corrected in the supplementary budget now.
The Secretary asked the landlords to at least allow the office to be open, as the Department of Finance has put 5 million kina to pay for the outstanding rentals.
So the issue has already been 27, and I've been asking the landlords to be considerate, to be patient with us, because year in, year out, we've been paying them.
But an audit is expected before any payments can be made on the outstanding rentals.
Tomorrow we will do an audit into government office allocations, office rentals, see what independent auditors will come in to tell us how much is actually outstanding, how much is yet to pay for the current year, so that it puts us in a better position to sort out the 2017 shortfalls.
The Public Solicitor's Office, the Ombudsman Commission, the National Institute of Statistics and Industrial Technology have been locked by the landlords due to non-payment of rentals. Adelaide Xerox Kari, National, EMTV News.
Former Morobe Governor Luther Wenge also issued a statement concerning staff that are being locked out from the public solicitors and the Ombudsman Commission offices. Mr. Wenge said the government has the responsibility to make sure officers perform their constitutional obligations. Luther Wenge is also a former magistrate. He said the Public Solicitor's Office and the Ombudsman Commission have the right to take out a court order against the government.
Those officers that I call, they have a right under the Constitution that if they don't provide any money or anything incidental for the operation of their constitutional duty, then they have a right to go to the national court and get an order against the government of this country. They have a right.
The people of Wasu in Tewai Siasi district of Morobe province have called on the government to help improve their road infrastructure and health services. Bad road conditions have made it difficult for vehicles to transport people to the clinic. Tewai Siasi MP Kobi Bomarero says to prioritize government services like roads in the district. Julie Badui Owa files this report from Ley.
The people of Wasu, a local level government in Tewai Siasi district in Morobe, can walk for a day when seeking medical treatment at the local health center. It is difficult for them to be transported by vehicles because of the road condition. The locals prefer not to use their vehicles because of the damages they incur.
Time plus I go na tire buruk or spring buruk or destra and plus I sleep 2 one night the road.
The road condition in Wasu has been the same for years. The people of Tewaisiasi have called on the MP to help develop the roads so they are accessible. Just like Boana in Nawai district, road maintaining and upgrade is a great concern in Tewaisiasi.
Through all members, blumi play no sa look sabe mi play on spla road na road blumi play no good too much. Time long rain. Wasu kau mai em sa bagarap. Gira malu on man meri mi play solution mo na sa bogobot.
What has become more clear is that more needs to be done by the government and the district when ensuring quality road conditions are accessible by all in the rural areas. It is a concern that both the national and provincial government should concentrate more on maintaining roads and build better infrastructure in rural areas. This will bring equal opportunities to government services for everyone. Julie Badui Owa, National EMTV News, Leh.
More contributions coming in to assist the Hanuabada fire victims is helping them move closer to reach their goals. Hanuabada Fire Appeal Committee spokesman Daddy Toka Jr. made these remarks today when receiving a 50,000 kina donation from the Office of the Provincial and Intergovernmental Relations. Meanwhile, another corporate office has also shown a hand of support for the fire victims. Steamship's group of companies donated 20,000 kina later today.
That everyone can do. These are very trying times, so everyone that's contributed, whether it's in cash or kind, we're taking it on board, because at the end of the day, these families are still living in tents, and would like to have them back into homes before Christmas. That's the goal, and that's the plan, and every toya counts towards having these families back in their homes.
Would like to join the list of so many people who have come so far to represent the Disaster Office and my people of Uwekopen, and also to pass my sympathy. I want to bring my talk sorry, come long, you brought community layer.
Works Minister Michael Nali is in Kavieng, New Island Province to visit the Buluminski Highway. The minister arrived this afternoon, where he was welcomed by all government heads in New Island, including the Governor Sir Julius Chan. This is the first visit for Minister Nali to New Island. He is expected to visit the 260-kilometre highway tomorrow. Buluminski is one of 16 priority highways in the country and an important road link for people in 2 New Island districts. Stakeholders from across the fisheries sector have gathered in Port Moresby for the inaugural Pacific Fisheries Seafood and Technology Expo. The event, which began today, features major players within the fisheries sector as well as the growing number of fisheries SMEs. Fisheries Minister Patrick Bassa officially opened the expo.
Participants from the fisheries sector in Papua New Guinea as well as from the Pacific region gathered in Port Moresby this morning for the official opening of the inaugural Pacific Seafood and Technology Exposition. The event, the first of its kind for the Pacific region.
Try and do something for the Pacific Island within the region, to have an exposition that we could bring together all these people from the industry. So we decided to run this in parallel with the Tuna Forum, the Pacific Tuna Forum, which starts tomorrow.
His sentiments echoed by Fisheries Minister Patrick Bassa when officially opening the event. Minister Bassa also reassured stakeholders within the fisheries industry of the government's support to this key economic sector.
Together at one location to showcase our products and potential in entering the world seafood trade. This event also provides the opportunity for small to medium enterprises to network and to pull together resources and products to target our specific markets. I urge all SMEs to consider working together.
With the theme Connecting the World to Pacific Seafood, the Expo has been fortunate enough to attract exhibitors from throughout Papua New Guinea as well as a few from regional participants. PNG FIA representative Fabian Chow called on the government to reconsider its taxation measures to create a conducive environment for the industry and especially fisheries SMEs to get off the ground.
Because the time for taking is over.
we have to give back a little to take something. The taxation will prosper and increase as the industry grows. This show and exhibition is the start of NFA's initiatives in the support and implementation of SME policy in the fisheries sector. Maybe a suggestion is to build a regional SME register so that it's easy to access and people like our friends here in Vanimo can benefit and learn from that experience.
The Expo, which concludes on Thursday, provides a snapshot into the fisheries sector's current contributions, as well as the potential for the industry to go to the next level through using cutting-edge technology. Meribatulo, National EMTV News.
Continuous delays in counting for the Southern Highlands regional seat has affected schools, health services and businesses in Mendi town. Bank South Pacific has also threatened to shut down its services in Mendi, while schools, hospitals and business houses are operating on an ad hoc basis. The Southern Highlands Business Coalition Against Corruption Chairman Gary Kulangil raised a serious concern. He said fighting over the governor's seat is to control the LNG proceeds.
Kulangil said Mendi town is no longer business friendly. He added that the Electoral Commission should not decide for a failed election as it will be too costly and will add more problems to existing issues.
The I'm wizard creative now. One is any come up. This let me make people cross more yet long. People will start knowledge by yes and go underneath launch system where always said him.
The Southern Highlands Chamber of Commerce and Industry and Business Coalition Against Corruption jointly appealed to the Electoral Commissioner to resolve the issues surrounding the Southern Highlands provincial seat and deliver a governor for the province peacefully. Chamber of Commerce and Industry President Barry Mini said business houses in Mendi have been experiencing major profit loss for the past 2 months. Shopping centers, banks and business houses have been consistently opening and closing their doors 4 or 5 times a day, and they have had enough of living in fear.
That when fear is doubled down, gun old man can't run nothing. Gun. Even police only gun 2000. In front of all police, all man only gun stuff. There is no security that people are feeling safe. People are operating most stores. They can just come in and do anything. Banked, BSP banked for the last 3 weeks. Open, shut, same kind of people go through long and it's going through the same process. And we just eventually people are hard any form of business law town. So.
Meanwhile, schools in Mendi town have been greatly affected and students have been on and off classes. Grade 10s and 12s national written expression exams were completed on the streets and in the bushes and returned to their teachers. The schools in Mendi town are appealing for the Education Department to allow for all the grade 10s and 12s to repeat next year. Mendi General Hospital is also running short of medical consumables.
Mama finding time. Only na block kisim referral ikam lo Mendi Hospital. Sabosol no nap straight in lol. Bush housing play you mean? This law only no nap ikam na bloody report ikam also. Some law only kisim die. Only find him die. Emasu blow said.
The Provincial Chamber of Commerce and Industry are appealing to Electoral Commissioner Patiles Kamato to act decisively or they may seek legal advice on the losses. Vasinata Yama, National EMTV News, Mendi.
Local leaders and church representatives in the areas surrounding Mendi town have called for the Prime Minister to intervene and take control of the situation. In a gathering at the Mendi police station yesterday, they accused the Electoral Commissioner of setting a wrong precedent by allowing disputed boxes to be counted. They said the PNG EC must act promptly to deliver a provincial governor or innocent people will suffer.
The people of Mendi town, mainly from the public and private sectors, gathered at Mendi police station yesterday to air their concerns. A youth, Brian Wap, who spoke on behalf of the other youths in the province, said the Electoral Commissioner, Pateles Gamato, has set a wrong precedent by allowing the disputed boxes for the Southern Highlands regional seat to be counted. Wap said if the 84 disputed boxes are to be counted, the Electoral Commissioner must also amend the law and allow for the other disputed boxes in other provinces, like for Kandep Open, Agen Open and Kundiawa Gambok Open, to be counted also.
You open my floodgates now. The boxes on dispute. The same thing, the same treatment you are giving to the South Highlands, do it to Robert. Don't pull it out. Open the box. Let them count. Gamato, you have no say. You have started from South Highlands. Why are you blocking that one? That's not a court of dispute defense. If it is a court of dispute defense, do this one as the same thing.
The community leaders who gathered yesterday spoke confidently that the action of the Electoral Commissioner shows a deeper interest by certain individuals into the province's LNG proceeds.
Suppose you act on some people, Electoral Commissioner of Papua New Guinea, me address him, you say Electoral Commissioner of Papua New Guinea, because you have interest in Papua New Guinea, we brought you must happen inside like interest from you. Over you declare a peninsula, you will sabotage him, not delay him, sabotage him, not delay him. Mr. Gamato, what is your interest in this province? Whose interest? What candidate you sabotage?
The people also demanded an apology from the previous provincial returning officer who made an earlier declaration which they say was the cause of all these problems.
You got some law on election law been broken. Gamato, you were the one of something. If there was some election fraud been committed by some law or board member you, what have you done to them? What have you done to them?
The private and public sectors said the Prime Minister Peter O'Neill, who is also from Highlands, should not turn a blind eye on this issue but speak up for the province. Vasinata Yama, National EMTV News, Mendi.
And now looking at our finance news, the kina closed unchanged at $0.3125 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina was buying $0.305, $0.3759 Australian dollars, $0.2513 euro and 32.98 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, coffee, cocoa and copra closed higher while gold closed the day lower. Palm oil and copper closed higher, crude oil closed the day lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 259 points higher, the ASX closed at 35 points higher, and the All Ordinaries closed at 33 points higher. Stories making headlines overseas when we return. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the news. Turning overseas, well, today is a big day for Apple. 2017 marks the 10th year anniversary of the iPhone. And to celebrate, the company is holding a huge event to launch the iPhone 8. But it comes with a hefty price tag.
Would you drop $1,000 or more on the latest iPhone? For the first time in the smartphone's 10-year history, analysts predict that Apple will launch 3 different models. And they believe the most expensive one will cost a jaw-dropping $1,000. Apple is playing catch-up to rivals like Samsung, which already have near bezel-less screens. The latest iPhone is rumored to have a similar design, with the screen going from edge to edge. And your face may become your password, another feature where Apple lags behind its competitors. Facial recognition would allow you to unlock your phone and make payments. Hopefully, it won't be as easily fooled as the Samsung Note 8 is. People are getting in with just a photo of the phone's owner. The biggest hassle may be relearning how to use your iPhone. Apple may drop the physical home button we're also used to and replace it with a digital bar. Yet another way the iPhone could be catching up, wireless charging. A whole bunch of Samsung models already charge through wireless docks. And Apple's taking a page from Snapchat, which made augmented reality so popular. Apple's recent AR kit is already in the hands of developers. They're hoping a camera on the next iPhone could be specially designed with a laser sensor to make those famous selfie filters look even more realistic.
A woman is suing Crown Casino and poker machine maker, claiming their machines are designed to trick players to keep gambling. She's gone to court in Melbourne, saying pokies have taken over her life.
Well, poker machines are the source of addiction for so many Australians. But one Melbourne woman has had enough. She has overcome her struggle with pokies and is now taking on the companies who make them and operate them. Shonika Guy, who was addicted to pokies for 14 years, has taken Crown Casino and Aristocrat Technologies to the federal court.
I want this case to show that the machines are misleading and the industry knows that their machines are addictive.
The hearing focuses on one machine in particular. It's called Dolphin Treasure. Shonika says it's designed to cheat the user. One of the 5 spinning reels is larger than the rest, which makes it harder to land on the best symbols. Another tactic used in this particular machine is called reel starving, which means some reels have less of a particular symbol than others, again making it much harder to spin a winner.
We want poker machines to be designed in a way that what you see is what you get.
They are the equivalent of the National Rifles Association in Australia. That's why we have the greatest number of problem gamblers, bar no country in the world, because of the power of this industry.
But the Gaming Technology Association says poker machine manufacturers have to follow strict guidelines when it comes to meeting Australian standards.
They are legislated and regulated heavily. They comply with national standards. They're monitored in the field to ensure they continue to comply.
A range of witnesses will be called throughout the hearing, including mathematicians, psychologists and gambling addicts. The trial is expected to run for 3 weeks.
Australia's Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull is insisting he has a guarantee from the boss of AGL to reconsider closing the Lyndall power station in the Hunter Valley. It follows yesterday's meeting in Canberra, which has ended with more questions today than answers.
In the corridor.
Here he is. What are you doing to my constituents?
Key government and Labor figures cross paths in Parliament's press gallery.
Don't be no cold job.
Their parties now in an all-out fight to win the high moral ground on power prices.
Under your government for 4 years, they're going up further.
This the day after AGL's boss Andy Veazey met Malcolm Turnbull. The Prime Minister claims he won a commitment from the energy giant to rethink its planned closure of Liddell, an ageing coal-fired station in the Hunter.
We can't allow this to happen. We can't allow that gap to occur.
Andy Veazey acknowledges his company will draw up a plan to avoid power shortages after the closure, but still refers to Liddell retiring in 2022 and adds, "We just don't see new development of coal as economically rational."
AGL has just given Malcolm Turnbull the finger, well and truly.
The government wants all this fuss around power prices. In the party room today, the Prime Minister told his MPs Labor is hurting on this issue. Deputy Barnaby Joyce added energy is Labor's fatal flaw. But as the government fans the issue, it risks highlighting its own divisions.
This idea of sort of a clean energy target fixes all the problem is really a little bit of a nonsense.
Government Conservatives remain fiercely opposed to the clean energy target the Chief Scientist recommends. The Prime Minister is committed to finding a compromise this year.
Pope Francis is sending a message to world leaders who are skeptical about global warming. The Pope spoke on the papal plane before returning to the Vatican from his visit to Colombia. He said history will judge those who deny climate change.
We will not go backwards. We will go down. That is true. Climate change, you can feel the effects, and the scientists tell us clearly the road to take. All of us have a responsibility, all of us, some small, some big, a moral responsibility to not accept it, to give one's opinion or make decisions, and we have to take it seriously. I think it is something we cannot joke about.
Pope Francis also had this to say about President Donald Trump's decision to end the program that protects undocumented immigrant children.
I hope they rethink it a bit, because I heard the U.S. President speak. He represents himself as a person who is pro-life. If he is a good pro-life believer, he must understand that family is the cradle of life, and one must defend its unity.
Well, as you saw, Pope Francis is recovering from a minor accident he suffered during his trip in Colombia. Chukai Sports is next. We'll follow the Rugby League World Cup trophy as it makes its way around PNG, courtesy of Oil Search. Stay tuned.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome to Chukai Sports. The Oil Search Trophy Tour received a wow welcome on its second stop in Wau Bulolo today as it went on a pilgrimage to the birthplace of rugby league in PNG. Before that, the Paul Barrier Trophy landed at Lays Nadzab Airport together with the Digital Cup won by the Lays Next Tigers. Both received a rousing welcome by Lays City residents. The World Cup Trophy is on a tour around the country ahead of the Rugby League World Cup matches.
There were two trophies on board PX 104 from Port Moresby to Lae. The Paul Barrier Trophy and the PNG NRLC Cup, courtesy of the Lays Next Tigers, the 2017 PNG NRLC Cup winners. The World Cup trophy was ushered down the plane by PNG RFL Chairman Sandy Saka and Oil Search General Manager Stakeholders Engagement Leon Baskins. Both trophies were then loaded onto two trucks, which were part of a long convoy of vehicles that started a journey from Nadzab Airport into Lae City and directly to the Lae Rugby League grounds. School kids lined the streets along the convoy route and welcomed the trophy, waving flags and flowers at the passing convoy. The trophy has been taken to selected locations around the country by Oil Search Limited as part of its 2017 Rugby League World Cup PNG Trophy Tour. PNG's Rugby League pilgrimage continues today when the prestigious Paul Barrier Trophy, the most sought-after prize in the Rugby League world, travels to the historical townships of Wau and Bulolo. Elijah Levet, National EMTV Sports.
Wales has named their captain for this year's Rugby League World Cup. Craig Kopchak will lead Wales out of the Oil Search National Football Stadium when they face the PNG Comals on the 28th of October. Meanwhile, the PNG Comals team has not been finalised yet. The Comals team is set to be named on the 4th or 5th of October before they leave for Fiji for the Tri-Series against Kangaroos and the Batis. There are plans of including an under-20 Hunters team in the Interest Super Cup. PNG RFL is at the early stages of planning and may see a team make their debut in 2019.
Most of the Interest Super Cup teams have an under-20 team except the SP PNG Hunters.
We are the only club that doesn't have an under-20s. So because they're in Queensland, they're able to play each other at short sort of season.
A new structure will be implemented which is going to be similar to the Senior Hunters program.
We're different because we're a country, and our structure is such that we're going to fly in and they're going to fly into the country, and so if we go with that format, it's a very big investment.
Next year, PNG RFL will be negotiating to further their 5-year Interest Super Cup contract with the Queensland Rugby League.
Our 2018 is also the year that we renegotiate our 5-year contract with the QRL. that comes to an end after 5 years.
PNG RFL's main aim will be to renew their contract.
Renegotiating that, we hope that the couple of current systems in place are reviewed and changed so that the game continues to grow here.
Elijah Levet, National, MTV Sports.
Still to come in Trukai Sports, we profile another basketball star, this time a representative in the women's national team. Stay with us for details.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. To basketball, tonight we feature a member of the PNG women's basketball team, Betty Angola. At 25 years of age, Angola has been part of the national team for over 5 years, making her one of the most experienced players in the team leading up to the FIBA Melanesian Basketball Championships.
With 5 international appearances for Papua New Guinea, Betty Angola is a familiar face in the national women's team.
Started playing when I was really small and young. I first represented the country in 2006 in New Zealand for the Oceania Youth Tournament. And then I was selected in the Oceania side, which include Fiji, New Caledonia and other Pacific Islands.
The 25-year-old went on to represent PNG in 2013 in the FIBA Oceania Championships in Auckland, New Zealand. Angola plays the small forward position role on the team and sees herself as a utility player that can fit into any role.
I can be a utility, I can move anywhere. So yeah, my mind is really focused on playing small forward.
She describes her experience in the 2015 Pacific Games as overwhelming and expressed confidence in her ability to perform on big occasions.
Really focused. We have advantages of the home ground as well, so it will be a good game.
Despite the current team made up of both young and experienced players, Fiji and New Caledonia remains a threat for Papua New Guinea.
I mean, the Pacific Games was held in 2015, so game changes over time and people change as well. So like, I don't know how prepared they are, but our girls are really well prepared.
When it comes to putting on the national colors and playing on home soil, Betty describes the feeling as no other.
Butterflies in the tummy, but you know, but as you wear the color, it's a pride and honor to represent your country and to represent your country and play. It's a big honor and achievement.
However, at 25, Betty Angola's future ambition is to see the growth of the code reach its full potential in the country.
After finishing my career in basketball, I like to go back, start a basketball academy for the kids, and I think tap into business and grow sport as a business.
Shane Saroya, National, MTV Sports.
Dozens of wakeboard riders from Russia and across the globe splashed the waters of a 50-meter pool in the heart of Moscow as part of the Russian capital's birthday celebrations on Saturday. The competition, featuring the world's best wakeboarding professionals, took place less than 100 meters from the Red Square in the country's biggest all-weather temporary wake park. A meter-deep pool filled with 1,000 tons of water saw the most spectacular tricks and jumps as over 140 riders of all ages enjoyed their extreme sport. Every Moscow resident over 12 years old can try himself in conquering a board and the cable system and enjoy a free training session with all equipment provided by the organizers. And that ends Trukai Sports. The weather details after the break.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
Looking at the weather forecast for tonight in the southern region, mostly fine although partly cloudy in Port Moresby and Popondetta, mostly fine and windy in Daro and Alotau, and fine although cloudy at times in Kerema. In the Mamaste region, fine although partly cloudy in Leh, rain drizzle in Medang, Wewak and Vanimo. In the New Guinea Islands region, rain showers in Lorengau, fine apart from a shower or two in Kavieng, mostly fine although partly cloudy in Kokopo, Rabaul and Kimbe, and mostly fine in Buka. And in the Highlands region, rain drizzle, then expected morning fog in all centres.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield, with doing with Dulux.
And that's the news, sports and weather for today, Tuesday, 12th of September. On behalf of the entire EMTV News team, pleasant viewing. Good night.